She put a pot on she hair and gone. Them a the first one out on the dam. Basket on she head, bucket in each hand. Hold up on she frock, I wanna she grandson. To the market, them a go. For the morning, the day is dawning. For cockcrow to give the villagers a warning. Rise and shine, the birds them a sing. All animal take turn as them join in the waking. Cockcrow, dagaba, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck a quack. Cockcrow, dagaba, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck a quack. Come and hear this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. All day a back down, me now a come home. Inaga, jackass yard for fetchy load. Cockle shy hand, bag over shoulder, running by his side, a Rexy and Rover. From the farm, them a come. Sun a go down but up the river. Some washing clothes, some folks are bathing at the water. Fisherman, they catch them a bring. From a canoe boat, man, them start offloading. Aymara, Kwakwari, Hail Baka Kuma Kuma, even Lokunani. Aymara, Kwakwari, Hail Baka Kuma Kuma, even Bangameri. Listen to this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. Them children glad when the weekend come. Out in the yard, them all gather round. Some a play catcher, some making house from straw. Two who come later, a grandma or grandpa. All a sit down just a wait. Moonlight so bright, it's just the right time to listen story or to say a little nursery rhyme. Grandpa voice a echo in the night as he tell some picnic are there with fright. Oh Ligan, Mungeza, Massa Kurma Burra Nancy, even Watamuma. Oh Ligan, Mungeza, Massa Kurma Burra Nancy, even Watamuma. Yeah man, that's the true story that tell the people about life in the country, life in the country.
My God, let me for it. I don't have it in. It's not here. Yes, good night. Good night, family. Welcome once again to the Figueira show. Knowledge is power, so please share the live stream so that more persons can be a part of the conversation that we are going to be having here tonight with you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have lot in store for you tonight. We have the former Minister of Health, Dr. Karen Cummins, is going to be a part of the discussion here tonight. And the young and vibrant MP Vince Roy Jordan, all the way from region number 5, is also going to be a part of the conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start, let us be cognizant of the reality in which we are living. We are living in COVID times. COVID-19 is still with us. It is real. A lot of persons have been affected by COVID. A lot of persons have died because of COVID-19. And a lot of this has to do with the mismanagement of how we deal with this health crisis in our country. And we are of the view that the Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, is doing a terrible job with dealing with the health related issues of this country. And as a result of such, we believe that he should go. He should pack his bags and go. Give somebody else an opportunity. Let Frank go and be some other thing, because he's doing a terrible job being the Minister of Health. Too many persons have died too many persons have been infected with this COVID-19 virus. And I want to take this opportunity to say to all Guyanese, some of you still have some concerns, some questions concerning the vaccine, but it is available. If you are desirous of going and get the vaccine, there are a number of sites that are available. So please go and get it. But for those of you who are still on the fence, they are you're still on the fence with respect to if you should take this vaccine or not, I say to you, please, whenever you are in the public's domain, please wear your mask. That is one of the simple measures that you can employ. Wearing your mask, it can help to save your lives. It can protect you. It can protect your families. It could protect your work colleagues. So please, that is one of the basic requirement whenever you are in the public's domain, whenever you are in the company of people, wear your mask. It is important. Sanitize as often as possible. And if it is possible also, practice social distancing. Those are the three basic, basic things you can do if you are not prepared, if you're not ready to take the vaccine. Build your immune system, change your lifestyle, have a healthy lifestyle, eat more fruits, more vegetables, exercise every day. You don't have to exercise for an entire hour. Whenever you wake up in the mornings, do some stretches, do some sit ups, do some push ups, walk, run, do something to enhance your bodies. It has to do with building a effective and a proper immune system to give you a fighting chance against this COVID-19 virus that is rampage in in Guyana. It is out of control. I was told we are with respect to per capita, Guyana leads in the Western Hemisphere with infections and deaths. What a record to hold. What a record to possess. It is a terrible record. And we're saying to all Guyanese who should be responsible, who should be responsible during this deadly pandemic, to be responsible in wearing your mask. Wear your mask, people. Just simple. Wear your mask. Ensure that your children, whenever they go into the public's domain, they have on a mask. And don't take it off. Take it off when you are far away from people, when it is supposedly safer. So wear your mask whenever you are among people. If you're going to the supermarket, you're going in a taxi, you're going in any form of public transportation, the boats, whatever it is, wear your mask, people. It can make a difference with life or death. It can make a difference with you either contracting it or spreading this virus to your loved ones, your grandmother, your grandfather, your mother, your father, your siblings, your children. So you have a duty of responsibility as an individual to play your role, to play your part and ensure that we help this installed administration reduce the infection rate in this country, reduce the death rate in this country. So I'm saying to you once again, the government has made vaccines available. It is all over this country. There are different types of vaccines that are provided by this administration for citizens free of cost. And I'm saying to you, if you are comfortable, you have done your research, and you believe that that is the best choice for you, then we are saying go and take the vaccine. That is what we're saying. And if you are not as ready as yet, if you still have some unanswered questions, then I believe you should seek out those answers. And in the meantime, wear your mask. Wear your mask. Change your lifestyle. You need to adopt a healthy lifestyle, people. A healthy lifestyle. eating a lot of vegetables. Steam it. Don't go with them back in the day thing. Let it simmer down and boil down and let it fry down. That's what we learned growing up. Killing all the nutrients. Steam your greens. You know, grill your foods. You don't have to do a lot of frying. Grill it, bake it, boil it, but avoid the oil. Avoid the oily foods. Okay? Steam your okra, steam your corilla, steam your green leafy vegetables. Steam it for 5 minutes and eat it. Eat healthy and exercise. It is a must. It is a requirement for you to build your immune system. And ease up on the drinking for now. Ease up on the alcoholic consumption for now. Consume more water. H2O, more water. Drink some coconut water. Everybody in Linden got a coconut tree in the yard. Walk around and ask your neighbor for a coconut so you can help build your immune system. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to invite my first guest, Mr. Vince Roy Jordan, MP Vince Roy Jordan, all the way from region number 5, to be a part of this discussion. Yes.
Hey, pleasant
Welcome,
good evening, John.
welcome, my brother, Mr. MP Vince Roy Jordan, all the way from region number 5. Tell me, Vince Roy, what is going on in region 5 with regards to COVID-19? Is region 5 also a region like region 10 that is demanding that the Minister of Health pack up his boots and go?
Hi, John. Pleasant good evening and good evening to your viewers also. And we are definitely singing the
I'm
same
not hearing
tune.
you. Unmute your mic, Winston. Unmute your mic, Vince Roy.
I'm unmuted. You getting me now?
Yes,
You hear
I'm
me?
hearing you now.
You hear me? Right. Yeah. So I'm saying, Jermaine, pleasant good evening to you and your viewers also, those following us. And your question is whether we in Region 5, we have the same view as Region 10 with regards to the Minister of Public Health. And I was saying earlier that we're singing the same tune. Frank has to go. Frank must go. It is time that Frank goes. Too many of our people, too much people died within a short space of time. And the irresponsible way of managing COVID-19 in Guyana and even Region 5 now, we're feeling the pressure. Just in the last month, about 15 persons died from COVID-19 in a small region like Region 5 with a population less than 49,000 people. A small region, you know. And so we think as a people, and I speak for the people, those that I represent here, and all the right thinking people in Region 5, that Frank must go. We cannot continue having this sort of, haphazard management of the public health system. It just has to stop, and it has to stop now. You,
All right, thank you very much, MP Vince Roy. Let me take this opportunity to invite Dr. Karen Cummins, the Shadow Minister of Health, to be a part of this conversation. This is the woman with all the digits, all the information, all the data, so that she could apprise and inform our viewers of where we are with COVID in Guyana. And I believe she too will join the bandwagon as myself, Vince Roy, and so many other Guyanese who believe that Dr. Frank Anthony is doing a terrible job in dealing with the health situation in Guyana, and moreover, his management of the COVID-19 pandemic right here in our beautiful land. Dr. Cummins, as she prepares to come, Vince Roy, tell us, I mean, you have been doing tremendous work in region number 5. I noticed you would have taken the farmers market day to region number 5, and it has been getting a very favorable response by the residents up there in region number 5. But I was told, oh, before we get back to, let me get to Dr. Cummins. Welcome, Dr. Cummins. We get back to that, Vince Roy. Dr. Cummins, welcome.
Hi.
I was asking Vince Roy to give us a take on his view of COVID-19, and you being the shadow minister of health, and I know you have possession of a lot of data that the viewing public should be privy to. So I would like you to take this opportunity to share this data with the viewing public so that more persons can be informed, and then we have an approach of how we should collectively deal with the
Data
situation.
with the viewing public so that more persons can be informed.
Go ahead, Dr. Khan.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on your program. It's my maiden
Public so that more persons can be
maiden
informed.
on your program. First time I'm coming on your program. Uh, Indeed, COVID continues to be a topical issue. Being the topic is being exhausted, but the fact remains that persons are dying, and there continues to be a skyrocketing in deaths. There's an uptick in cases, over 32,951 confirmed cases. And as I keep saying, you have to multiply that by three. So in Guyana, it's over 100,000 persons with COVID-19. We're having about 816 deaths. I mean, we know one death is one death too many. And you would know that a week or so ago, even our own Imran Khan succumbed to this pandemic. And so it's very serious. Now, I know Vince Roy is from Region 5. Well, I wouldn't say the epicenter is really Region 4 because Region 4 has about 15,803 cases. Region 5, I think it's 1,156 cases, confirmed cases, according to the dashboard. Region 5, it's coming up like second or third from the rear. I recall when we had started, of course, when we were in government, Region 5 and Region 8, they were trading way behind. And so they continue to be almost at the bottom. But Region 4, it's like our epicenter. That's the most cases are found in Region 4. Of course, it's populated, and you will expect that. Where our borders are, Region 1, Region 3, Region 7, Region 10, that's where we're having the cases. And of course, I guess the government would agree that some persons are unvaccinated. And so what has been said now is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Be that as it may, I will still encourage persons to wear their masks, as you alluded to earlier. Wear your mask correctly, cover your nose and your mouth, avoid crowded spaces, watch your distance, and of course, sanitize and wash your hands. So those are the basic public health measures, and at least the least you can do that. And I also listened to you earlier when you encourage your viewers to eat healthy. And of course, we know vaccine alone won't assist this. You need to your entire health, and eating is very important. Healthy eating, your exercise, your nutrition, those are all important. And so they go hand in hand. Your diet, your exercise, your lifestyle, as well as taking the vaccine if you're with your doctor's permission, and as I said before, eating healthy. Of course, there will always be that subset of persons who will not be able to take the vaccines. And also, we have also noticed there's some, we call it breakthrough cases, where some persons who have been vaccinated have come down with persons over 65, and persons who would have had, immunocompromised, immunosuppressant drugs or so. They have been, studies have shown that they're the ones who have come down with these breakthrough infections. And so in America and those places, they're encouraged to do a third, they call it a booster shot. So that's in the making. But I think, in my opinion, it seems now more than likely that you should take the vaccine because you don't know what's happening at the COVID-19 hospital. So might as well you pay and take the shot, the jab, rather than trying to get natural immunity and going ahead, ending up at the COVID hospital there, where you don't know what's happening there. So I think the lesser, if I don't want to say less of the two evils, but you know, I would encourage persons to be vaccinated as much as possible. Of course, persons will argue that they have natural immunity, but remember, it's not only for you; it's for your persons in your home. In your own home, you might have different people, different immune system. You know, those who are vulnerable, those who are fragile, the older persons, your grandmother, grandparents. So don't think about yourself only. Think about the others as well.
Definitely. I'm seeing here. Um, so I mean, Dr. Cummins, Jordan, Vintroy, Jordan, MP, and I were saying that due to the starking reality of this damning situation of COVID in Guyana, we share the view that the Minister of Health should pack up his bags and go. What are your views in that regard, as a former Minister of Health as well?
Well, I mean, you will recall that it's before the having feedback here. I'm having feedback here. Are you hearing me?
Clear,
Yes.
yes, loud and clear.
Yes, it's in the parliament, I think, against the Minister Robson Ben and the Mr. Frank Anthony. I think we already had sent a no confidence motion, I think, to them, if I recall vividly. The parties probably asking him to step aside because we thought that, you know, it's been mishandled and mismanaged. And
Badly.
a partisan approach where persons involved is more or less unilateral and so forth. As I mentioned before, this is an opportune time for us to work together, you know, to grow together. And because it's a novel virus, we learn about the virus. And so, you know, we have to uncouple the politics from the infection from this pandemic, and so we need to be mature politics here because these are people lives. 816 lives lost. I mean, we have a target for persons to die. Are we going to wait till 1,000 then we're going to run out of skelter? You know, so it's 816 is a lot of persons that have died. You know, but today's paper, I think I saw the minister say that he's trying to get oxygen plant for
So that,
COVID-19.
Doc,
So
we talking about we talking about
continue
deaths,
supply of
and
oxygen.
most recently, one of the most shocking deaths that the nation was awoken to was the death of the 40-year-old child, a school child at that, who would have um, taken his second shot of the Pfizer vaccine, the vaccine that is alleged to be the most efficient and effective, and more so the most popular vaccine out there, Pfizer vaccine. And he died, a 14-year-old child. I mean, I don't know the accuracy of the information that I got with regards to what is happening in the US, where the Pfizer vaccine are being administered to young people who are 16 and above. But here in Ghana, it is being administered to 12-year-olds and above. What are your views in this regard?
As I'm saying before, I'm at a loss because we are not part of the task force. We have no say in the decision making concerning that child. I think I saw some information from the post-mortem saying that it was bleeding in the brain, and it's not attributed to Pfizer vaccine. So that's the latest, I think, coming out from that information from, I think, the newspapers today, I think. It's not attributed to the Pfizer vaccine, but because of some hereditary, he would have had that, early in his childhood.
MP Vince, right? Are you there? MP Vince Roy. I believe
Yes,
this
yes.
post-mortem, as the Dr. Cummins is saying, was done, but I think this was the same guy who would have done the autopsy for the Henry boys as well. So one would want to, put some question mark in that regard there. But what's your view in that, being a very young child there, school is being asked to be open at this point in time?
Um, German, I'll tell you what. My expectations were fulfilled based on it being done in the postmortem being done in Guyana, and based on the pathologist that conducted the postmortem. If it was done by an international body or team, and they had said that, I would have believed it more comfortably. But I expected the results to be of such that whatever it comes out of it would be that it was not because of the Pfizer vaccine. Be it bleeding in the brain, be it some heart condition, be it some lung, kidney, whatever it might be. Um, I expected it to be that the report will say it is not as a result of the child receiving the Pfizer vaccine. And so it is not shocking, it is not new, it is not uh, something that I didn't really expect. And again, you touch with the Henry boys. When you put all together, you'll understand the level of what is really happening. I think in order for us to get a true picture of what really happened with that healthy 14-year-old child, and understand really what happened to him to cause the death, not just saying it is the vaccine. I think we needed an international investigation, not locally.
But more importantly, too, what's the name? Host, Jermaine, if we can come in, I think we need some more specialists. For instance, in the hospital there, I went to the reflection of Imran Khan over the river, Breedanook to be exact. And the call was made for more pulmonologists and more specialists to, you're having a hospital with no kind of specialist there. You may have persons who will try something, but we really need more specialists in our country. So we need to go back to the drawing board and see what kind of healthcare system we're offering to our citizens. If it's optimum and it's the best we can do. I mean, we're becoming an oil producing country now, and so we have to step up the game in terms of our care. I mean, nobody hardly sues people here now, but we have to be very careful in how we treat our patients. And so we have to really step up our game in the type of practitioners we have, who know what they're about and could be able to save lives. Early detection save lives. That child, I don't know if the child have gone through pediatric department and so on, if it would have taken a long time to identify the child would have had some kind of brain problem, brain pathology. And so shouldn't that have be picked up earlier? Was the child having symptoms, and were there signs that red flags were raised that would have caused attention? And as I was mentioning before, I think at some gathering, that before you take the vaccine, they should have a template where you ask so many questions. Do you have any comorbidity? Do you have, these questions? I don't know how long or what's the relationship between the physician and the patient. So we need to improve our patient, physician relationship, improve health literacy and so forth. So we know what we're about. You're taking the vaccine, ask the nurse to show you the name of. Some people are leaving the vaccine site without knowing what vaccine it is. Is it Sputnik? Is it Pfizer? They don't know. So you need to leave there knowing what type of vaccine you're taking. See it. They shouldn't even open a needle,
But
a needle,
Dr.
new package,
Cummins,
open your
the
present
question
and
with
all of that.
regards to
I guess Vince, you can continue talking while he gets back.
Oh, we lost Jermaine there.
Now German there. Yeah.
Yes, Doc, you mentioned earlier about Region 5 not being the epicenter, so to speak. But I can recall last year, prior to the PPP getting into office, Region 5 had zero COVID-19 cases. And in about 6 months or 3 months into their administration management, we got the first case, but it slowly moved along, and suddenly it ramped up that fast to now have close to 1,200 COVID-19 cases, and we have somewhere about 260 to 270 active cases right now in this region, and it's a very, very scary thing. I think viewers should take the necessary precaution, and these are the information that should be out there. People should know about the active cases. That is what is alarming, and the thing about it is that we have no control system when it comes to these active cases. We send people back to their homes.
That's
I know,
right.
for example, people who would have tested positive, and they're walking on the streets and they're not even wearing a mask. So I think we should get back to that place where I know during your time as minister in the coalition government, the then health minister, Miss Paula Lawrence, she ensured that there were places provided for those positive persons, so that they could have spend the period there, probably 14 days, 12 days, whatever it might be, until they were cleared, and then they would return home to their families. And the struggle is right now that when someone is tested positive, they have to return home to a family, extended family in some cases, and you find people not having the space, people not having room to say, well, okay, I can go into separate room, I can isolate from the rest of the family, and such like, or I can move downstairs and the family remain upstairs. But when they go home, they have to mix with the same family, and so there's no sort of institutional measures put in place, and proper management of those who are tested positive. I can speak from Region 5 safely, and that is what is causing the rapid increase
Spread.
in the
Yes,
numbers.
yes, I
It is
agree.
spreading, and people are careless. No doubt, some people are careless. They go onto the streets and they know that they're positive. They don't even tell the family that they're positive, and they go into the streets, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
And
we
that's what
move from one to where we are today.
That's right. And that's why I say we need to work on the education. I mean, the education aspect. What's the government's communication strategy? You were one time you were saying mandatory, you couldn't go into this place, you couldn't go into that public place, and so on. But then the same effort should be spent on educating the people. Remember, we had the 4 E's. We had 3 W's, we had 3 T's, we had 4 E's. Where you
But
and engage the patient,
Dr. Cummins,
engage the constituents,
given
your clients, and so forth. You engage them, you explain to them, you encourage them, and then you enforce the law. So you have to educate, and the government has to be part of that exercise. They have monies for that. They
Dr.
have monies
Cummins,
for COVID, and maybe we need to know what's happening with the monies there for COVID.
well, we know
How it's
where the
being
monies
spent.
are going to different friends and cronies of the PPP. But with regards to the education and the
Friends and
acquisition of
cronies.
data, if the government, I mean, the
Yes.
numbers in itself, the
Yes,
active
but
cases in
definitely
itself are out of
the
control.
onus also is on you, the public, you, the citizens of Guyana. You have a responsibility. You have to take this thing seriously. You
True,
certainly don't
true.
want any more of your relatives to die,
That,
or to be infected, or to go to the
that is
COVID
true.
hospital. So, you're expected to pay attention here to simple measures. Wear your mask. And you have COVID, try as much as possible to isolate, try to improvise. If you have a room, try to divide it, somewhere. I mean, it's very sad that when you would have gotten COVID, you have to go to be your own isolation, home isolation. But I think regionally, it can be regionalized, someplace in the region where persons can go, and if they can't have the environment at home to avoid crowded spaces, and so it's not convenient, then the government or the RDC, the Regional Democratic Council, the Neighborhood Democratic.
Very sure. One of the questions I wanted to ask Doc before she came up. I mean, the numbers in itself are ridiculously high of active cases, and this is without government allowing um, various sites to provide um, free COVID tests to the population.
Yes.
Dr. Cummins, I was saying to MP Vince Roy, the numbers are alarming as it is with regards to active cases in Guyana and more so per capita, us probably leading in the region. And this is without government making facilities available for the ordinary Guyanese who cannot afford to pay $25,000 to go and do a COVID test. So if government actually allows the various facilities across the regions to offer citizens and residents of those respective regions an opportunity to go and access free COVID testing. One, it provides people, individuals, knowledge of where they are with this COVID, if they have it or not. Two, it provides the government with actual real-time data because more persons would actually go and do the test. Because a lot of persons who feel bad and believe in their based on what is going on out there with respect to the various symptoms, some of them believe that they have it, but they can't go and do the testing because they can't afford. And what MP Vince Roy Jordan was saying is that those same people who have these symptoms walking about the place as normal as ever and continue to spread it if that is indeed what they have because they cannot afford. So it is a far more frightening situation because if we are so high without these free tests available, what will happen? Frank should definitely go because this is absurd. It's ridiculous. You people cannot afford to pay $25,000 a COVID test when a lot of
Yes.
people are getting less than the minimum wage. So what do we do
Absolutely.
here?
Absolutely. Yeah, because that's the same thing with the nurses. They were saying, okay, you don't want to, to be vaccinated, or show COVID a negative test every 3 days, or like twice or thrice a week, and it was difficult. Of course, Dr. Anthony says it's difficult for them to. It's they don't have the money to do all the testing. I heard that with my own ears that it's difficult. It's too much money to do all the testing. But it's a lesson of the two evil. I think that the sites, there are certain sites that have been set out to do that you can go, and so I think they should have screening sites. Should have screening sites because people need to know. And in case you want to go home, there's no package. I know like Honduras and those places, you go home with a package. I mean, well, we don't do ivermectin here because it's not WHO approved, but they have other things that are certain they have the little Panadol, the little or Tylenol or whatever, a little package. At least you go home with something, your mask, your little thing, a little package, but you're not going home with anything. So you're home isolation, you're just left on your own, and so the vulnerable, we have the vulnerable with us persons who have been dismissed and so on who may not be able to afford, the constant use, of course you can make your thought mask and try to improvise. But I mean, we really we have less than 1 billion persons here. And so we should look out for each other and see how best we can help. And the government has a role to play. Of course, the vaccine is one, as I said before, vaccine alone, it's a holistic approach. And so persons have to eat and those kind of things. And so these cash grants, and so we have to ensure that it goes where it's supposed to go, that persons are benefiting from these cash transfers.
So definitely the government has a role to play. I know we are having the discussion on COVID, and COVID seems to be the hot button health related
Mhm.
issue. But there are other health related issues that is also affecting the population. And this month, the month of October, is the recognition of mental health and cancer awareness.
Cancer.
And
Yes.
those are matters of great concern as well in the country. A lot of focus from the Ministry of Health, the overarching body that is responsible for the healthcare system in this country. Limited attention or not sufficient attention has been given to the issues of mental health in this country, Doc. and it is something I believe
Yeah, with some internet problems there. Uh, Jermaine seems to be having some challenge there in terms of the internet. But of course, definitely October 10, I think it's Sunday or sometime, it's World Mental Health Day. I plan to do a program on that, mental health and COVID. But definitely, I think the theme for this month, if I this is an unequal mental health in an unequal world. I think if my memory serves me right, is the caption or the theme for this 2021 mental health in an unequal world. And of course, health is not just the, according to WHO's definition, it's not just the absence of disease, but the total well-being, your mental, your psycho,
That's right.
mental, physical, social, every aspect of your life, you know. And so, COVID, this is a real difficult time. COVID, persons have been isolated, children not going to school, the socialization, and so forth. And so it's really a lot. People are enduring, trying to enjoy, not enjoying, but enduring a lot, And so there's this mismatch sometimes between your perceived demands and your perceived ability to cope, with those demands. And, so there are stressors and so on. But I guess
I
you
hear
have
them.
to have faith and know that this too will pass, and make every effort to do your part so that you can stay healthy and maintain a healthy balance, the equilibrium, maintain it's there.
Doc, I don't know. I think Jeremy not hearing you at the moment. But if I may ask a question, Doc, seeing that we are on the conversation together, with the situation in Guyana presently, rise in cost of living, people being dismissed, and COVID-19, those two coupled with COVID-19, I think that Guyana, the public health ministry should really put some emphasis, some more emphasis, some focus on mental health, especially in this month, and targeting especially vulnerable communities and certain sections of this country, and doing an education drive, because I do believe a lot of people are out there with a lot of challenges with regards to mental health, and with the crisis that we're in the country. I don't see anything much being done. What are your? I mean, you would have worked in in the public health system, and I know we had programs during this time and continuously when we were in office, but suddenly I see no focus. COVID would have taken all the focus away, and we have
Absolutely. Yes.
mental
Yeah.
health
Yeah.
challenges. You know,
Yes. And that's why I spoke, I think it was on Dinesh War's program, I think early this week, is that even though we are focusing on COVID, we don't want to gain to the other programs, the chronic diseases and other programs be, overlooked.
I hear you.
And so we have, focused our attention to COVID and left those unattended. So all our gains that we have put, all the effort, the investment that we have put in, would have lost. And so we have to make sure that whilst we are focusing on COVID, we balance and maintain that we continue the gains that would have started earlier on these mental health programs. And so I know we have trained mental health was decentralized. We had
right,
social work, we had
right,
psychologists in all the different
correct.
areas. We call Fort Wellington, and also at that place, uh, Hugo Chavez
You
place, I think.
correct, right,
Yes,
right.
or a person, a doctor assigned there as well, those of
That's
certain
right.
disabilities. And so we had it really going well. But I think some of the nurses, some would have dropped off, some have left, some have gone to greener pastures. And so we will have to retrain persons. But it's very, we have to do, we have to do it very fast. Time is against us. And so we certainly want to have we have so many things to, we come in an oil producing state. We want to improve our health status, we want to improve our education status, we want to go back to those former glory where literacy was so high in Guyana and so forth. So we really have a lot of work to do, and so we have to really focus on our attention to human resource, health is. I mean, you have. We are becoming an oil-rich country, yes, but it's not only material wealth; it must be development of the people, the welfare of the people. You know.
Definitely. And another thing too, I noticed, Doc, because we're on COVID, and MP Jorman mentioned in his opening remarks, people, they must social distance and try as much as possible to wear their mask and such and such. But I was looking at a few programs just about 2 days ago, and I recognize that the government continues to flaunt their own laws. Because I looked in Region 6, right neighboring to me, just across the bridge, when the installed vice president went across there about 2 days ago, I think, we had hundreds of people seated under one tent. And to compound the situation, we had another few hundred surrounding those seated. Now, you cannot have proper ventilation. And in the first place, the chairs were packed closely, tightly knitted to each other. And that is to show that they don't care about the laws that they would have placed there in the gazetted order. And then when with one hand they say people need to wear the mask, social distance, all these things, and then with the other hand, the vice president, installed as he is, goes and put the people to sit together. And when you look at some of the pictures from those activities, you see some people when they sat there, German is back with us, they pulled the mask down and they were not comfortable, they were heated. One person was fanning and the mask was off. It is ridiculous to know that we are battling COVID-19 and we have an installed administration helping to compound the situation and causing hundreds of cases, keeps piling it up on a daily basis. And I think it's ridiculous, and we're heading down a very, very scary and dangerous tunnel. I can see that right now.
Interesting to know if they would have done a test now, how many persons would be positive there. Positive.
At the very location, and Jermaine mentioned that
tests would have been done.
Probably if they made that site,
the same gospel preached to others must be the same one.
Probably if they had done some testing right there, they would have found a lot of people positive.
Yeah.
Yes, a very terrible
COVID
situation.
Is going to be here with us.
Definitely,
so we can
more has to be done.
Virus away.
And Dr. Cummins, I do believe that this approach that the government has with regards to dealing COVID, it is self-evident that they're failing, they have failed. And for us to really and truly address this COVID-19 pandemic as a country, as a collective, both sides of the divide must sit at the table and let us collectively tackle this, because it is a national issue and it's affecting all and sundry. And the coalition definitely has ideas, definitely has workable solutions, workable suggestions. And if only that opportunity is made available and is provided, I think we can put a handle on COVID, Vince Roy. What do you think?
Yeah, I do believe, Jermaine, listen, I think if we can only just pause for a little, look at what is really being done or happening in this country. The gazetted orders there. When we talk about curfew, we were having I think it was 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. curfew. It was not a bother to the people, and the cases were very low at a very low rate. You saw infected persons, and then in addition to that, you find that a lot of these places, the drinking places, the other areas that you find hot, people lime a lot and go and have the recreational time. We had certain restrictions on it, and I'm not saying we lock everything down, but if we just put some measures in place for just about 2 weeks to a month, and then with education, I think we're gonna have a very, very good chance of really bringing the numbers down in a very short space of time. I think we will have control over COVID, but it cannot happen with the
other countries, our neighbors. Yeah.
Yes, though.
Absolutely. Yeah. Some of our CARICOM countries have done that.
Lockdown. Thank you, Vince and Dr. Cummins. I was experiencing some very technical difficulties I don't know
Yes,
what's going on here tonight, but
yes.
nevertheless, I'm
Important
very much
engagement.
thankful. Straight up is going to be on very soon and in the next 5 minutes. So, what I would like for both of you guys to, in 5 minutes, 2 minutes each, you can make your closing remarks, and definitely we'll have to invite you again because tonight is one in which we didn't have much justice out of you guys coming on the program, but definitely we're thankful for the information that you have shared so far. So, in your wrapping up, what was the message that you want to give to the Guyanese nation at this very important time in our nation makeup dealing with COVID-19?
All right.
Dr.
Let
Cummings.
me. Oh,
All right. I just want to tell our viewers that COVID seems to be with us for some time, and we want you to act sensibly. Read as much literature that you can from reputable sources, Center for Disease Control, from World Health Organization. Let's try to debunk the myths. I know the social media, you're bombarded with the social media, but you must be able to cipher out and sift out what is credible from not credible. And so you are able to, and just follow the science. Let's follow the science. The vaccine has been shown to decrease hospitalization, decrease the symptoms, and decrease the deaths. We know we have the different variants of concerns, variants of interest of the virus. And so we can't sit back. We have to do something. Of course, in addition to taking the vaccine, for those who are, it's optional to those who would want to take the vaccine. I encourage you to take the vaccine. I have taken it. And so, but in addition to that, I want you to eat healthy, to make sure you use your green and leafy vegetables, your fruits, and healthy foods generally, or watch your hydration and so forth. And try to practice the three W's. Wear your mask correctly all the time, wash your hands, watch your distance. And look out for those persons. If you know you have the virus, don't deliberately go and spread it. All right. You have persons who are you have greater and lesser persons, those who are more vulnerable, your grandparents and some children. And so let's be responsible. All right. So I just want to wish you well and hope that we will really work together as a team. I call on the regime to work with the opposition so that we can bring this pandemic to a halt soonest.
right, Joe. Um, I would want to say to the viewers, nobody can protect you for you. The only person that can protect you is you. And so I think it's an individual approach. People need to recognize that they have to protect themselves. And so I want to say to my Guyanese brothers and sisters, even those in the diaspora, might be listening to us, let us take this thing seriously. Wear our mask. Let us ensure that we follow those guidelines that were set out. Washing of hands, as Dr. Cummings would have mentioned. Ensure you sanitize. When you go out, try to keep as far as possible from the large crowds, the large gatherings. As a matter of fact, I say to the elderly, if it's not necessary, just don't go. Stay at home. And I think you're safest there. And I think the other thing people need to do is really get educated on the vaccines, get educated with the spread of COVID-19, get educated on how you can probably treat yourself, be it what you can use, even with the herbal medicine that people use, the boil of bushes and so on, and the different tea that they make. Get educated, and
Lemongrass.
there's some education on when you're having difficulties breathing. Get educated on that, so you would not have to end up at that evil of a place at Lillian Dahl, because it's not really a place to trust. So I say to our people, protect yourself for yourself.
Yes. Okay.
I guess you're not there.
Okay. Yeah. Happy to be on this program, and let's work together so that we can really halt these deaths, the too many uptick of cases. Just want to say good
Right,
night
we
to our viewers. Yes.
we need to bring a stop to the numbers. They're climbing too high when it comes to the death.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And just in case Jermaine doesn't come on back before the time is finished, good night to the viewers also. And it's really a privilege. My maiden, placement on the show here tonight. I just want to say it has been a privilege.
Yeah. And give my regards to all those from Region 5.
Yes, I will do, Dr. Cummings.
That little ditty we used to torment our teachers with.
Figure time is not
It
up.
goes something like this. On something like this. Upward, Mary had a go. Day by day she tied it to a rope, till at length they got busty rope, and Miss Mary had to run behind it. We had a lot of fun with that, but do you actually know how beautiful these words are?